intensity of the tragedy, it being a true story and it being so, so tragic. So to know that somebody actually went through the conflict that my character is playing. Normally you're playing conflict, you're playing with, characters that are fictitious. And yes, sure, they definitely, the more dramatic a feature, the more it takes out of you. But to think that this is real, that's what set this one apart. And it wasn't difficult to deliver. And that is, and it's purely because I was so affected by the reality of the situation that I didn't have to work too hard to get to the place of vulnerability that this character was, because my problem seemed small and insignificant. And to think that someone was going through so much pain, I wouldn't wish this on my enemies, literally. And that's what I had to portray, and that's what made it so hard.
क्या कहते हैं ना वो लाइनमैन जो होते हैं इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बोर्ड में, दिल्ली विद्युत बोर्ड नाम होता था मेरे ख्याल से उस दौरान, और उसमें काम करता है वो रोजाना वही काम सालों से करता आ रहा है, उसको किसी ने नहीं बताया कि ये गलत काम है या ये तरीका गलत है, और ये जो उसको इंस्ट्रक्शंस मिले हैं ऊपर से वही करता आ रहा है, और एक दिन उसी काम के लिए, और उस काम के लिए उसको कई मतलब क्या कहे ना अवार्ड्स मिले कि बहुत अच्छा काम करते हैं आप, और एक दिन उसी के लिए सजा मिली। तो ये एक ऐसा कैरेक्टर जिसकी 20-25 साल की उसकी भी जर्नी है, और 20-25 साल जेल से अंदर बाहर होता रहा, वो अपने बच्चों को बढ़ते हुए, शादी करते हुए, ग्रैंड चिल्ड्रन होते हुए नहीं देख पाया ठीक से। तो ये एक मतलब वो चाहे मुजरिम हो लेकिन वो एक विक्टिम की तरह से है। That's how I perceive this character.
Preparation was very difficult. It was not easy at all, because understanding someone's 25 years of journey is not easy. And the person is there and she's still fighting the case. So you have to, kind of go through the emotional truth. Then you have to understand the psychological part, physical part, everything, because you are going through that, because what we are showing is again like a 19 years of journey in this show. So in that, how many things must have happened? How her, how, like basically even it's mentally, of course, you're going through it, understanding the whole issue and her agony. But physically also you have to, understand that, is she like going for a fitness, especially like just a simple thing like fitness? Will she go for it? How she will grow old? Is she like, does she do any kind of a makeup or something? She's a normal Delhi woman, So many things are part of as a character development. So I look at it, all these details is also important for me. How will she walk? Does she have a hunch? Because I always see like my mother have that kind of a thing, and I'm like, wait, I know something like that is there when you grow in that way. How much kind of a weight she must be carrying on her shoulder? What kind of a hair so physically also, like how much weight she will put on in that particular way. So everything is part of it, because emotional truth is the most important part. If you don't feel it, you won't be able to. Whatever you do, you look like, or whatever you do will be zero if your emotional truth is not there. So you have to learn, prepare, and then there is a point you unlearn a lot of things, because you're dealing with two people at the same time. There is Neelam and there is Rajshri, and then there is the whole world. Actually 3 people, I can say. And then all of that, you have to keep your subtext aside, you have to keep your subconscious aside, and you have to follow that path of a person, which skin you have put in for that. So it was not an easy journey. But it's a very inspiring what Neelam has done. And I think that is something which was always there in me. So, yeah, so I think every day I prepare, till the last day of the shoot, the preparation never stops. So, yeah.
So we couldn't actually sit and chat to the people we were portraying. One reason being, first of all, there was no question of the way you speak. They're very much urban, middle class. We sound exactly the same, so there wasn't any mannerisms to be adopted. But the main thing was, how do you question them about what did they went through when their child died? Like, what did they go through when they face corruption? Like, it's a hard journey. And as Rajshri was saying, of 25 years. So it's a very uncomfortable thing to ask of a person. And it's based on their life. So my director was like, well, you don't need to speak with them. We'll create their story, you know. Also, it'll make them more relatable because they're just regular middle-class urban folk. So you can do that. And we want them to represent anybody of that background in this country. Okay, fine. Let's start there then. Then, for me, as I was telling you earlier, the tragedy was so much, it was a little heart-wrenching that I couldn't prepare for something like this. And every actor has their own process, correct? Nothing can prepare me for this. And also, no matter how much you prep, at least I can speak for myself. And Rajshri said this at one time too, that you have to then throw it out the door when you're on take.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you can't be thinking about what you prepared because then you're not really in the moment.
Yeah. You have to be in the moment. That's the most important part.
So for me, it was the gravity of the subject, the intensity of the tragedy, the inspiration that I have of these people, the importance of the message, the work that we're doing. Because look, this is relatable to a lot of people. That justice takes a long time in our country has been well known for decades now. It's nothing new. So I think just the idea that I am shouldering a responsibility here that is so relevant was enough to push me kind of on that edge. I'm already vulnerable here. And then, you know, I love my work. And for me, it's about taking everything that's been given to me and presented to me. And a strong script always provides you with the platform. Now let's play with it. And there's no prep for play either. I just hope I've done it justice. That's it. And I always looked to Prashant to see if he got what he wanted. He seemed to be happy. I used to be someone who carried it, but then I found that that was really hard on my own self. You also get more passionate than need be. You wear your heart on your sleeve and people take advantage of you. And so I really had to bring myself out of there. It just doesn't serve any purpose, not to me and not to the people around me. This one, however, even though now I've for many years been able to switch on and switch off, which I don't think you can. You tend to carry it with you, if I may say so, but she will answer for herself. I could be wrong. This one was much harder to switch off because of the nature of the tragedy, as I've been saying. So I was surprised. I thought I'd been able to move on and I can switch on and off, but this one took a little bit. But I was able to switch it off again because I've trained myself to be able to do that. It's not an easy thing for actors to do, though.
It's difficult, as Abhay said it. I run an NGO, and when I was working on this project, I was building a school in a tribal village for sugar cutting laborers. So for me, there is no switch off because the kind of a fight Neelam has is there with me forever. And I'm going to continue.
To switch off for your own mental health.
Yeah, no, but I'll tell you what I have learned with all my characters. Fortunately, those the kind of characters I've done, few of them have really inspired me. And I feel that I don't want them to go away from me. What the Neelam's strength, Neelam's courage, I want that forever. So, of course, the whole tragedy and all, like, I feel it's a spiritual journey for me because as we have the line where, badlav lana chahiye. So, I go back with the line, that I have to work on the action on ground. Because अगर वो चीज़ें जो हम दिखा रहे हैं, हम जिसका awareness कर रहे हैं through a portrayal of the people of Neelam and Shekhar and the whole Award system, their inspiring journey, we're showing to people. But if there is no change on ground, then it's zero. We have to have, and that's exactly what Neelam has also done it, Shekhar has also done it, that they're not just fighting for their own children, they're fighting for the whole system, they're fighting for the whole country, the world. The whole message is for the whole world that are we safe? Then what we should do to be safe? You know, and where it should start for you, it should start for me. You know, so that's exactly how I look at it. It's very difficult to understand the 25 years of life of Neelam. What trauma she has gone through, it's very difficult. If you look at the world where it is going, we're going to go get doomed the way we are. Only compassion and love and empathy will save us. You know, only people like Neelam, Shekhar's resilience and, courage will save us. Otherwise, we will be done. See, even the physical transformation for me is something very internal. You know, it's something where, how a 20 year of life, which we have shown on screen, how gradually that must have happened. That's how I worked on it. Of course, we are not caricaturing anything. We have to go through the process. And when I discussed with Prashant that because we are showing an old age and it's a very, very tricky area, you know, it can go a very wrong way also. Because it's a very difficult, as an artist, the actor, it's the most difficult area because you can become a caricature. So you have to, so I draw inspiration because I work in the society, even the people closer to me, even my mother, I've seen her aging, the way she is aged, the weight of her, all the children and family and the society, I've seen her closely as aging, so I've kind of felt that how a person like this will age, so that's how my preparation is, what must have happened. Like in that 19 years, 20 years of her life, which we have shown is, how she must have dealt with things, with situations, with weather. So everything is part of a preparation for me. And I like to do that, It's just not like putting a white on your head. No, like will she wear, like what kind of a hair she'll have? What is his growth? So I get into all that thing.
I can give you one example. Like there was a scene where he somewhat confronts the lawyer, and it just took me. Your question took me to that moment because I remember going into confronting him and then holding back because I had to be aware that I was older. I was just an average middle-class man, and I had to show power and strength, but within the constraints of someone who isn't a typical, I'm going to smash your face in and this is injustice and I will show you my power. Even though he is actually showing that he is somebody powerful and that he will not bow down, I had to do it in a way that was within a believability of someone of his background. So it's a dialogue. It's a dialogue that you kind of engage in at every moment, in every scene, as you break down, the movement of a scene, you have to consider the physicality of the character, the background of the character that you're portraying. And that defines the way they will speak and the way they will move.